Open for Business. We're having a pre-fabulous conversation this Sunday. If you're on the hunt for building your house, check out our discussion on prefabricated homes as we speak with one of the leaders in that area. Engineer Ruben Quintal Jr., CEO of Top Notch Construction Corporation and Prefab Homes Philippines Corporation, joins us on the discussion about his enterprise journey as well as rethinking how homes are built.
Matatag ang paninindigan. Matapang sa pagresponde. Matapat sa paglilingkod. Patikang tagapagbalita. Mata natin sa balitaan. Alex Santos kasama gabi-gabi sa Mata ng Agila Primetime.
We're in the sky. Kaya lumilipad na naman tayo.
Sino ba itong uupo ngayon?
Today, we're revolutionizing the way we think about homes. The traditional process might be getting a makeover, and it's all thanks to prefab. Joining me today is the visionary behind Top Notch Construction, a company not only is building homes, but building the future of housing. They've taken the concept of prefab and turned it into a force to be reckoned with. He is a true industry leader who started his construction business 15 years ago. In such a short time, he also established subsidiaries which complement the need of construction, from the obvious hardware and modular cabinets to the latest trends of prefabricated homes. He's the owner of a thriving construction firm and a leader in prefabricated housing. It's Engineer Ruben Quintal Jr., CEO of Top Notch Construction Corporation and Prefab Homes Philippines Corporation. Welcome to Open for Business, Ruben.
Thank you, Sir B, and thank you for having me on this show.
We were talking off-cam earlier about this innovation. Kasi ang innovation, pag sinabi natin sa mga kababayan natin, paggagawa ng bahay, alam nila yung traditional way of doing homes, building homes, which takes a process. But pag prefabricated, parang ano to? Like say, for example, if it's a cabinet, you buy it from the store, and then it's all in the box, and then you go home, you put it together in your home, and there you go, you have a cabinet. You make building a house very easy now. It's like building a cabinet. So, paano mo ba napasok yung prefab?
Kasi during pandemic, maraming taong gusto lumipat from urban area to rural areas.
Okay.
Kasi nga, siksikan sa Metro Manila during that time. The problem is, pag nagpagawa ka ng bahay, medyo matagal. At saka maraming restrictions noon sa movement ng goods, sa movement ng tao, sa movement ng equipments. Kaya mahirap magpagawa ng bahay. So this idea came to me to come up with a product na pwede kong i-fabricate doon sa shop namin, buuhin, tapos i-dismantle, i-deliver doon sa location ng client, tapos i-assemble na lang doon.
Oo, tama. Parang buuin mo, and then you dismantle, and then you reassemble. I see. Okay. Pero ang tanong ko, Ruben, bakit nung pre-pandemic mo naisipan? A lot of people think that one of the businesses that really thrived during the pandemic is food. But there is an insight that you're saying that people, they wanted to go home in their provinces. Do you have, like, say, a research also on gaano ba karami yun na nagsiuwian at doon na talaga sila nanirahan sa kanya-kanyang probinsya?
There's no actual research kasi nasa construction ako, conventional construction during that time. Marami kaming inquiries na nare-receive na paano ba magpagawa ng ganito? Hindi ba kayang bilisan? So, Pag sinabi namin ganito ang duration, baka mas mahaba kasi pandemic ngayon, hindi natutuloy ngayon yung project kasi nga papagawa sila pagkatapos ng bahay, tapos na yung pandemic, paano nila magagamit? So maraming ganong requirements na pumapasok during that time. Kaya naisip ko yung prefabricated house.
Ano, Ruben, ang pagkakaiba ng prefabricated homes sa homes na conventionally done? Mas mura ba to? Or mas mahal? Or mas matibay ito? Or, siyempre, ang unang may isip dyan, sabi mo nga, you responded na mas mabilis gawin. Di ba? But before you respond to that, gaano ba katagal ang pagpapagawa ng isang bahay?
Kung mga model designs, mayroon kasi kami mga designs na mayroon na kami stock. So kung yung bibilin, mabilis lang yan. Within 2 weeks, pwede namin ma-deliver at saka
Prefab ito, prefab. So 2 weeks, kaya na?
2 weeks, kaya na yan.
So magkakaroon ka ng bahay, ilang rooms yun?
Meron kaming studio type, merong 1 bedroom, merong 2 bedrooms.
So alam mo, yung sa 2-bedroom unit, prefab, 2 weeks, tapos na yon.
Kung yung mga model house.
Yung model house. So parang, kumbaga, ito templated na, kumbaga.
Yes.
I see. That's the minimum. What's the longest?
Kapag kapag customize yung gusto ng client, design niya, finishes niya, usually kung hindi kasama yung design phase, usually mga 30 to 60 days.
Okay. So that's about
1 to 2 months.
1 to 2 months. I see. Pero, halimbawa, doon sa ginawa ninyong prefab using your model designs, when you go to the traditional way of building it, how long will it take you?
Usually 6 months, hindi pa kasama yung documentation at mga permits. 6 to 8 months yan kapag
Oo, so ang laki ng diferensya.
Malayo talaga.
Oo. Pero ang mga Pinoy ba doon sa, siyempre, dahil marami kang inquiries din, at I'm sure dahil mapapanood nila to, mas marami ka pang inquiries na matatanggap. Saan technology galing ito? Ito ba ay konsepto na nagagamit na rin sa ibang bansa? At paano kaya ito tinatanggap ng mga Pilipino ngayon?
The technology is not new. Yung technology mismo hindi new eh. Kasi yung prefabricated namin, what we use is yung mga dating building materials na ginagamit. It's just the concept of construction, binuo namin siya sa shop. But itong mga materials na ginagamit namin, existing na siya.
Pareho lang. Parang walang new material or new technology or new equipment na ginagamit para dito.
Wala. It's just the process of construction. Although, pinili namin yung mga materials kasi sa conventional, meron kang mga mabibigat eh. Sa amin, more or light materials para madali i-deliver, madali fabrication, madali install.
Aside from the speed of building these prefabricated homes, what are the advantages of having one?
The first is economy. Mas mura siya.
Mas mura.
More or less...
mga ilang percent siya mas mura?
Ang savings kasi nagre-range from 30 to 70% eh.
Wow! 30 to 70% cheaper. Mas murang bahay
yes, sir.
ito. Gaano ano yun? Let's say, in terms of pesos, mga magkano yun? Kunyari, sabihin natin, sige, studio na lang. O, mga magkano yun
Let's
sa
say
studio?
kung studio, gagastos ka ng 2 million. Kapag dito sa prefabricated homes, mga $500,000 to 1 million lang.
Pero ito, kapag itatayo nyo na ito, dapat yung pagtatayuan, yun yung sagot ng owner. Like say, dapat yung lupa sa yun. Tama? Correct?
Yes, sir.
I see. Saan bagay, Ruben, ang mga prefabricated homes? Di ba parang sinabi mo, yung nagmamigrate na from urban areas to rural. Saan siya maganda itinatayo?
Sa ngayon, iba-iba yung demand niya. Marami siyang usage na pwede i-utilize. Bukod sa sa residential, pwede siyang gawing remote office.
Okay, tama.
School, mga rooms,
pwede din.
storage, barracks. Meron ding prefabricated warehouses.
Yeah.
Mga bakal na 'yon. So marami siyang applications.
So hindi lang siya residential.
Hindi lang
I see. Parang talaga, easy on the budget, 'di ba? Tulad nan, sinabi mo ang daming paggagamitan pala. So parang hindi mo kailangan na very intricate na the usual building of a home or of a storage, 'di ba?
Yes.
Or kahit yung mga guardhouse nga minsan, 'di ba? Pwedeng ganyan, 'di ba? Wow. So, pangalawa na yon. The first is the speed of doing it. Diba? The second is the cost of building it. Ano pa yung advantage? Hindi ba yung, diba, sa Pilipinas, mabagyo. Ngayon, medyo mainit tayo. Pero pagdating ng tag-ulan yan, tiyak, ano na yan? Hindi ba ito madaling,
Supposedly,
matangay?
ito yung, yung drawback niya. Kasi light materials, pwede tangayin ng hangin. But we make sure na sa design namin is mai-stand niya yung weather sa Philippines. So far, we started our business 2000 and up to now naman, sa lahat na tinayo namin, wala pang lumilipad. Wala pang tinatangay ng hangin.
Okay. Pero saan mga areas to ninyo na itayo?
Iba pero karamihan is rural. Meron kaming ilan-ilan din sa urban areas, parang mga extension ng bahay. Yun, meron din ganon. Pero most of them sa mga rural areas, yung mga farm.
Oo. Based on our research, Ruben, parang talagang yung construction ngayon, ang isa sa mga malalakas, ito ang pinagtutuunan din ng pansin ng mga maraming negosyante. It says here, the construction industry is expected to record growth in 2024, registering an annual growth of 7%, supported by budgetary allocations as part of the 2024 budget, and a continued rise in the value of loans credited by the Philippine banking system for the implementation of construction activities. So, ganda yung takbo ng negosyo pagdating sa construction. Ito ba ay plinano mo rin, Ruben? Talagang ito ba ay, pero sabi mo nga, pandemic, dito mo naisipan. So, ano yung talagang nag-push sa'yo para huwag tigilan ang construction business and you focused on this different sector which is prefabricated?
During pandemic kasi, CRB, ang hirap nung galaw nung construction So halos wala akong ginagawa during that time. Nakapost kami. So that urged me to think anong pwede ko gawin beside the conventional construction works. Kaya pumasok to sa isip ko yung prefabricated homes.
During the pandemic ba, may nagawa na kayo nun? Kasi kumbaga siyempre, nagko-quarantine tayo. So hindi kayo lumalabas, nandun lang kayo. Meron ba kayong nasimulan ng mga prefab noong pandemic time?
Yung initial na labas ng mga restrictions, wala kasi hindi talaga makagalaw. Pero after 2 months, 3 months yata, medyo lumuwag na. Doon, meron na kami mga nagawa nun.
Ito rin, maganda yung sinasabi dito. The construction market is projected to grow steadily, reaching 2.8 trillion by 2027, creating opportunities for various players. Sa paglobo ng ekonomiya, nakikita natin dumadami yung demand sa construction. Hindi ka ba nababagabag din sa kompetensya? You've been in the business for more than 15 years.
Yes.
But in prefab, that's about 4 years. How do you position your company and your services to also compete in the market? Pag pumunta ka ngayon dyan lang sa EDSA, left and right, di ba? Ang daming nag-uusbungan dyan. How do you accept the challenge in making sure that as an MSME, lalaban ka?
I thrive in a competitive industry. Talagang yung construction, pagpasok ko, competitive na yan I know how to drive the business kung paano lumaki. So sa prefab homes, we're in continuous search ng mga new technologies, new trend, new materials, paano mas mapapababa yung cost natin, paano mas mapapabilis yung delivery, paano mas maganda yung quality. Ang workout namin is parating nandun, how to improve the product, make it economical, make it sustainable.
Pero ngayon, ang gusto kong malaman ay paano ba tinatanggap din ng mga Pinoy ang ganitong uri ng bahay? Kasi with Filipinos, di ba, parang we're very used to although we're very modern now. As a matter of fact, tayo ang nangunguna sa teknolohiya mula sa Facebook, TikTok, di ba? Alam natin kung ano yung mga modern things. Ganun din ba dito sa pagdating sa construction, ang Pinoy ba, lalo na yung target market mo? What can you tell about their market acceptance on this type of housing unit?
Pagdating sa residential CRB, usually kasi yung maraming Pinoy wala talagang budget Gusto magkaroon ng bahay. So, itong type of product na to, very welcome talaga sa kanila. Pagdating naman sa commercial use, may mga practical purposes to talaga. Especially may mga offices ka, remote, na sandali mo lang gagamitin, mga guardhouse, o kaya mga projects na madalian, kailangan mo nandyan agad. this really have a practical usage sa mga ganong situations.
You don't really have to spend that much, di ba? Parang kumbaga, and then magagamit mo ulit.
Yes,
Parang sabi mo
Kirby,
nga, ma-mount mo, i-disassemble ulit, i-mount ulit, and then itago mo.
Yes,
Pwedeng
Kirby,
ganyan.
pwede mo relocate yan.
I see. Puntahan naman natin yung entrepreneurial journey mo. So parang sa pagta-transition mo from a civil engineer to establishing your own. Kasi ang Open for Business, isa itong programa na nagbibigay din ng tips para sa mga nanonood on how they can transform as a regular employee or as a professional to entrepreneur. Ikaw ba, nagising ka na lang ng isang umaga maybe after the pandemic na, okay, I'll set up my own construction business. Or others naman talagang they grew or they worked for a construction firm muna before they went into putting up their own. How did you start?
It was 2009 CRB. I was working sa Makati City, tapos nagre-rental ako sa Pasig City. I decided back then na ayoko na magrenta. Gusto ko bumili ng bahay. So naghanap akong bahay na pasok sa budget. Nakakita ako sa Imus, Cavite. The problem arises kasi yung travel time ko from doon sa Imus, Cavite papunta sa Makati is 3 to 4 hours one way. Kasi during that time wala pa yung Cavitex eh.
Wala
So,
pa. So ang daan mo nun, anong...
Dito sa Coastal, tapos sa Talaba.
Ang traffic nun. So 3 to 4 hours yun.
Okay, kasi papasok pa ako ng Imus eh.
So umalis ka ng Imos, anong oras? Alas 3,
Mga
alas
4, gano'n.
So 4 ang dating mo, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Mga gano'n. Pag uwi ko, matraffic din. So hindi siya sustainable at saka syempre yung health ko baka mag-suffer din. So I decided to quit yung job ko dito sa Makati and look for opportunity doon sa Cavite. Unfortunately, wala akong nakitang medyo attractive openings. Kaya naisip ko, ano kaya mangontrata ako, testingin ko. So yun, nakachamba ako ng isang project, tapos nasundan pa, and fortunately, nagtuloy-tuloy from there.
In short, when you, sinabi mo, nagtuloy-tuloy din yan, pero I'm sure marami ka ring challenges na napagdaanan. So, can you cite what are these challenges of that you encountered with top-notch construction and how were you able to hurdle them?
Yes. Starting, everything is difficult. Mahirap lahat eh. I start with the marketing, paghahanap ng client kasi wala naman akong budget for marketing, wala akong puhunan nun. Medyo mahirap maghanap ng client, hindi rin ako kilala. So I really have to think out of the box, so paano ako makakahanap ng client. Ngayon, nung nakachamba naman ako ng project, nagsimula na magpatong-patong yung dilemma kasi kailangan ko mag-establish ng tao, kailangan ko maghanap ng HR, kailangan ko establish yung payroll system ko. I remember yung first project ko is worth 30,000 pesos. The day after down payment, nung binayaran ako, the next day, I estimate the materials na gagamitin, then I canvas, dala-dala ko yung owner ko, I pick up the materials, deliver ko sa site. Kinabukasan, wala akong mahanap na tao. Kumuha ako ng isang tao doon sa amin, labor lang. Ako ngayon yung karpintero, ako ngayon yung latero. Kaming dalawa nagtapos ng project. So, ganun kahirap at the start.
So ikaw lahat. Kumbaga parang chef din or cook na ikaw mamamalengke, ikaw magluluto lahat. Okay, and
at
then
saka
go ahead.
yung working hours talagang mahaba. I have to work a minimum of 18 hours per day. Kasi ang ginagawa ko noon, in the morning, I have to tend to supervision, attend biddings for new projects, procurement, canvassing ng materials. Sa gabi, I do the documentation, yung estimating, yung drawings, saka yung mga preparation ng bids for prospective projects. So talagang sobrang hirap noon. Talagang hard work lang talaga yung puhunan ko during that time.
Wow. That's really very exciting. Pero sa palagay mo, Ruben, anong aspeto doon sa operations ng pagninegosyo ang pinakamahirap? Kasi nabanggit mo na marketing is one very good, it's a skill that you have to learn. And especially if you're engineer, engineers are not necessarily good marketers. Talagang you have to hire them. That's one. You also mentioned about HR. These are people. Sometimes you have to look for people in the area because rather than get people from outside Imus, Cavite, di ba, for a cheaper labor cost. Alin doon sa mga aspeto ng operations mo ang pinaka-critical?
Ang pinakamahirap talaga sa construction company until now is yung operation side, yung sa project. Kasi hiwa-hiwala yan. Iba-iba location eh. So kailangan mo bantayan yan. Kasi syempre, yung downtime ng tao, pag di mo nabantayan, talikod ka, wala na.
Petik na.
Meron ding mga nakaw. Okay. Tapos yung pag-maintain mo ng mga skilled. Kasi isa sa problem ng construction, hindi constant ngayon yung amount of work, volume of work. Bisan may project ka, pag nawala yung project mo, you have to let go of the people. Hanap ka na naman project, minsan hindi mo nakukuha yung dati mong tao. Kasi siyempre mag-a-apply sila sa iba.
Nakahanap na sila ng ibang trabaho.
So yun ang very big challenges pagdating sa construction.
I worked in one of the premier property developments here in the Philippines. Lagi naman nilang pinagtutuunan ng pansin noon nung nandun ako is the quality of craftsmanship. Diba? With that property development, they are judged by the quality of your output. We were marketing the properties then to a lot of companies, different markets. So it could be OFWs or middle class, and then there are properties naman that's targeted to a higher end market, di ba? Pero kahit anong mga market yon, parang quality pa rin ang pinagtutuunan nila. In your case, di ba, parang now, knowing that, you know, in terms of operations, you think that's the most critical part because that's multitasking. Ano naman ang masasabi mo na kailangan mong ingatan doon sa pagninegosyo? Is it similar to the others that they focus on quality, or is it the how fast you deliver the project, or is it the relationship with the customer?
Sa akin, ang pinakaingatan ko is first is quality talaga. We don't compromise with quality. Yun ang number one eh. Pangalawa is yung trust ng client. Kasi yun, pag nasira, ang hirap makipag-usap sa kliyente. Especially sa residential projects, there are a lot of variations, dagdag, bawas. So medyo mahirap na yung mag-proceed yung project kapag nawala yung tiwala sa iyo ng client. So kapag may mga talagang kailangang ibawas sa kontrata, kahit hindi nakikita ng client namin, hindi, ibawas mo yan. Kasi baka later makita yan, mawalan tiwala sa atin. So that's one of the important factors sa akin sa dealing with projects.
In sales and marketing, we deal with a lot of clients. Although we have a rule, di ba, na parang client is always right. Diba?
Yes.
Pero di ba, meron naman hindi lagi. Paano mo na ipapaliwanag sa client yun? Example, in construction, ito yung pinipilit niyang gawin. Pero architecturally, or siyempre, engineer ka eh. So parang, hindi pwede po yan. Parang ganun. Yung iba naman talagang sobrang gustong magtipid or sobrang maganda. Pero yung budget naman, hindi ano yun. Parang anong way mo na pakikipag-usap sa kliyente? Para ma-manage talaga yung expectation at may paliwanag mo sa kanya. May sikreto din ba yun?
We have to explain a lot of aspect na construction, from design, mga codes, mga regulations, kailangan naming sabihin sa kanya yan eh. Especially kapag may conflict dun sa gusto niyang gawin at saka sa pwede naming gawin. So pinapaliwanag namin sa kanya yon. Other times na ini-insist niya, wala kaming magawa kasi pera niya yun, siya masusunod, pinapasay namin siya ng waiver. Sometimes kasi hindi mo maiwasan sa construction magkaroon ng delays. Kasi during final stage of construction, nagkakanda ka ng inspection at saka testing and commissioning. So minsan during testing and commissioning may nakitang kailangang ayusin, nagpapadelay sa project. On our side, ang ginagawa namin, kinu-caution namin yung clients namin na hanggang hindi pa turnover yung project, huwag kayo mag-schedule ng kahit ano. So once na turnover yan, saka kayo mag-schedule. Kasi kapag halimbawa, hindi pa tapos yung project, nag-schedule na kayo, nagkakaroon ng double jeopardy, parang may binabayaran kaming liquidated damages for the delay, tapos may damage sila ngayon. Kasi nga, nag-schedule sila, yun, hindi ma-cover namin. So, kinu-caution namin sa client. Actually, may binibigay kaming construction guidelines at the start of construction na ito, huwag kayo mag-schedule na kahit ano hanggang hindi pa namin na ibibigay yung susi sa inyo. At accepted nyo na yung project.
How do you identify and implement new technologies and trends within the construction industry across the branches?
Yung mga new technologies and trends, we're always on the lookout for that. Kasi nga, yun yung edge at competitiveness ng ng company. In a highly competitive industry, hindi ka pwede mahuli. And usually kapag ang mga trend is practical, economical, usually nag-i-standard agad, nakikita namin agad yan. Sometimes naman may mga clients na lumalapit sa amin, can you do this, can you do that? Magkano cost nyo? Sometimes ganun. But we're always careful in implementing them kasi hindi porket trending, hindi porket sikat is maganda na. So we do our research, we do the computations. Kapag nakita namin feasible, saka namin i-implement. Isang munang project, paunti-unti. Pag okay, saka namin i-implement fully.
Nabanggit natin, social media, marami yung mga reklamo. Kunyari, hindi lang sa property developers or even with the projects with government, di ba? Yung tinatawag nilang use of substandard materials or equipment. What's your tips to customers for them to spot substandard materials?
Kami sa Top Notch Construction, when we give a proposal, yung basic construction materials, yung mga nakatago, hindi kami nagko-compromise doon. Talagang top of the line parati yung pinopropose namin. Ngayon, pagdating sa finishing works, yung mga item na nakikita, pwede kasing si client yung mamili nun. Kung medyo nagtitipid siya sa budget, pwede siya magtipid, palitan niya na lang later kung may budget na. Pero kung gusto niya ng high-end na top of the line, pwede rin kami mag-recommend.
So parang sinasabi mo, Ruben, parang there are classifications. One is the basic material in the construction of the house and the finishing could be different. Diba? Iba yung sa finishing na based dun sa plano na napag-usapan nyo which is under that specific cost. So kapag finishing niya na mas gusto niyang high-end, yun yung pwede niyang mamili.
Kasi Serby, yung finishing, madali mo palitan. Yung basic materials, yung mga nakatago, yung bakal, yung tubo, yung wire, hindi mo basta mapalitan yon. And yun, connected yun sa safety ng structure. Pag tinipid mo, maaari kang magkalik, magkasunog, o bumagsak yung structure mo. So we don't compromise with that.
Ito ang maganda. The Philippines was ranked 19th out of 146 in gender equality in the 2022 Global Gender Gap according to the World Economic Forum. And in the world of construction, gender stereotyping is quite common. So, siyempre, parang it's a man's world ito, di ba? Construction. Ngayon, kadalasan na lalaki ang makikita mong nagtatrabaho sa industriyang yon. Based on research sa Top Notch, halos lahat ng inyong mga arkitekto ay mga babae. So, it's quite admirable that Top Notch is doing your share to narrow the gender equality gap. Estratehiya mo ba ito? Or is this part of the vision of the company na, okay, we support gender equality?
Actually, CRB, wala akong preference. Nagkataon lang siguro. Kasi kung sino nag-apply, nakita namin na qualified, siya tinatanggap namin. During the tenure, kung sino naman yung nag-perform, siya naman yung naiiwan. So wala kaming discrimination, lalaki, babae. Welcome lahat yan sa company namin.
In short, you are hiring based on experience and skills, di ba?
Qualifications.
And qualifications. If you're qualified, whether you are male or female, you come in. Okay.
Yes.
Now that sustainability, gender equality, this gender gap is becoming a concern in a lot of companies. We now see that dapat there should be equal male and female opportunities. But it's good that, as you mentioned, as you explained, it's the qualification and the skill of the person that makes you hireable. Okay. According to various reports, the country's skilled labor shortage is largely due to our fellows going abroad. How do you attract and retain top talent within your diverse company structure, ensuring each subsidiary has the specialized skills and expertise needed for success? Pero siguro, bago mo sagutin yan, yung parang kailangan ma-retain mo yung top talent. Ano ba yung mga subsidiaries ng Top Notch? Ano ba itong mga kumpanya na na-establish mo para makabuo ka ng isang group of firms and also this one on prefabricated housing?
Besides prefab, meron akong Topmost Hardware Corporation at saka Topworks Builders Corporation. These subsidiaries are born of necessity. Doon sa subdivision kung saan ako nagsimulan ng company, may ilang units sa mga row house yon, may 4-5 units ako doon. Yun ang ginagawa kong warehouse, bodega.
Okay.
So, araw-araw, yung mga trucks ko, paikot-ikot dun sa loob ng subdivision. Babagsak ng stocks, kumukuha. Ngayon, after a while, nireklamo ako ng mga kapitbahay ko, homeowners.
Ang reklamo nila ay?
Siyempre, ginawa kong commercial yung residential area. So, pinalis ako. Ngayon, rather than
Hindi
looking
mo naman binili yung mga bahay nila.
Hindi naman.
Malis ka lang. Sige.
Rather than looking for warehouse sa labas, kasi medyo matagal na rin ako sa construction during that time, siguro naka more than 5 years na ako, na-observe ko na yung mga suppliers, yung mga malalaking distributors at manufacturers, hindi sila nagbibigay ng wholesale price kapag wala kang pwesto. So kahit malaki kang contractor, marami kang projects, hindi ka nila bibigay kung wala kang hardware.
Okay.
So para magkaroon ako ng access sa presyo na yon, instead na gumawa ng warehouse, gumawa ako ng hardware ngayon. So bukod sa kita namin sa hardware, naging mas competitive yung Top-Notch Construction kasi nagkaroon ako ng access sa mas murang materyales. Mura ko nakukuha, mas mura ko rin na i-offer sa customer namin. Yung Topworks Builders naman, it's carrying 2 line of products, yung modular cabinets at saka yung glass and aluminum products. It solves a number of issues ng Top-Notch Construction yung ginawa ko to. For modular cabinets, dati kasi yung mga cabinets ko, pag may project ako, kumukuha ako ng karpentero. Ngayon, pag natapos yung cabinets, I have to let go of the carpenter, walang gagawin eh. Next project, kukuha na naman ako ng karpentero. Minsan hindi ko nakukuha yung dati kasi may gawa. So I have to look for another carpenter. Minsan nakakatsyempo ko hindi magaling na karpentero. So doble gastos kasi aayusin ko. So yung naging purpose ng modular cabinets, naging benefits dito sa Top-Notch Construction is nami-maintain ko ngayon yung carpenters ko. Kung walang gawa sa akin, pwede sila maghanap sa iba. Yung glass and aluminum line ko naman, it solves issue ng subcontracting ko. Kasi dati, yung mga glass and cabinets ko, lahat yan pinapasubcontract ko. The problem is sometimes yung subcontracting na nalulugi or anything, naiiwan yung project, wala akong mabunot na tao ng mabilisan. I have to bid again, it takes a while na didelay yung project. Tapos during warranty period, halimbawa may leak, nasira yung bintana, kailangang ayusin. Yung response time ng mga subcontractor medyo mabagal, hindi ko makontrol eh. Kaya nung mayroon akong sariling team na ganito, na pwede ko bunutin, ang laking tulong. Yung edge ng Top-Notch Construction talagang tumaas. Kasi yung responsiveness namin mabilis compared to other contractors.
So in short, parang ang ginawa mo, parang binuo mo lahat yung the whole ecosystem. You created the basic requirements and services, diba, in the construction business. Speaking of going back to the prefab homes, assuming a client will go to you and they want to personalize the design, personalize the finish, they want to go beyond the model that you have. Is that possible? And how do you advise them?
Supposedly, yung design namin sa prefab homes is fully customizable.
Okay.
So, subject syempre sa limitation ng mga local codes.
Okay.
Sabi mo nga, may mga ganun ka lang client na gusto nila magpagawa ng ganito na hindi applicable yung prefab, especially yung number of stories, masyado mataas na, hindi pwede dalhin ng mga light materials namin. So, nare-repair namin siya for conventional construction.
Which you can also do.
Yes.
I see. So parang may option sila. Yan ang pero ito na yung budget kapag conventional.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So nasagot mo na rin 'yon, yung typical construction time. Ngayon, parang mahalaga din yung talagang bumabalik tayo sa current trends and innovations. Ano ba ang trends and innovations pagdating sa construction ngayon?
Sa ngayon, parang bukod sa continuous kasi yung innovation natin pagdating sa durability at saka economy ng mga materials. Ngayon, sa nakikita ko, mukhang papunta yung trend sa mga light materials, yung mas magagaan, especially sa mga medium rise, high rise, yung magagaang blocks. Then, to more environmental friendly materials.
Tama.
At saka doon sa mga energy savings na design.
Oo. Kasi kaya nga mo na-invento yung mga green technology, green environment, at saka minsan, parang di ba yun yung sinasabi na, this was made something like 90% space, mga ganyan.
Yes,
because they want to be green friendly. Pero these sustainable projects and initiatives, is it also part of your thrust? Nagagamit mo rin ba yun na pang-marketing mo para sa pagkuha ng mga bagong kliyente?
Usually, CRB, kapag mga bagong trend, hindi namin agad ginagamit. Pinagmamasdan muna namin.
Tinitest din.
Tinitest namin, pinagmamasdan namin. Kasi nag-i-stand out agad eh. Dati yung mga scheme coat, hindi uso. Talagang practical siya. Ngayon, ginagamit na lahat. So, madali mag-stand out. So, hindi lang kami sumusunod basta-basta kung anong trend. We observe muna, then before we offer to our customer base.
Ay, naalala ko bigla, kung dati ay ikaw at saka yung karpentero mo ba na nahanap ang gumagawa, and that's two of you. So how many people do you employ now?
Medyo marami na, I think. Kung lahat-lahat, siguro tumatakbo ako ng 600, 700 mga ganun.
Hindi pa kasama yung subcon doon?
Hindi pa kasama.
Pagkasama yung mga subcontracted people?
Siguro mga 800, 900 mga ganun.
I see. In the construction business, in prefab, what do you think is the future? Ito ba ay magiging mainstream? Ito ba palagay mo ay mauuso pa? Ito ba ay, I'm sure dumadami na kayo. Parang, di ba? Kaya nga parang, di ba, parang, I'm sure even the government is looking at that because they're looking for, di ba, sabi nga nung may mga government projects tayo na parang, bahay para sa lahat ng Pilipino. Yun. At ito ba na-offer mo din both the public sector and private sector? Ano ba ang nakikita mong the next big thing in the construction business?
I believe that as the years goes by, nag-i-improve yung mga type of materials na ginagamit eh. So, along the way, mas nagiging practical ngayon yung prefabricated structures compared sa conventionally built. Kasi nga, mas mabilis siya, mas mura, mas madali i-deliver. So, yung return of investment, mas mataas.
With all the things that you have done, with all the things, with your experience in construction business, ito ba inaangkat yung mga materials o meron din mga sustainable light materials na galing sa Pilipinas?
Combination, CRB. So, we import at saka may mga local manufacturers, may mga local suppliers.
So, nagagamit mo rin yung resources ng Pilipinas?
Yes, CRB.
Pero that combination yon depende. 'Di ba kapag nag-aangkat tayo, dependent ka doon sa sa volatility ng exchange rates, ganyan.
Yes,
so kung mas makukuha mo dito, parang ano yung combination nun? Mas marami ba yung imported products or in terms of ratio?
Mas maraming local products akong binibili. Okay, sa ini-import.
Are you also getting consultants from abroad or ito talagang proudly Pinoy made, proudly Pinoy led, mga ganyan ba?
Proudly Pinoy kami, CRB.
Yan, okay. Sige. Okay, for your final words, Ruben, what are your entrepreneurial tips na masasabi mo din sa mga nanonood? Kasi ang Open for Business ay nagbibigay din ng inspirasyon para sa mga gusto ring magnegosyo or katulad ng nakaraan mo na from just the two of you, building a home to someone who has built a company with subsidiaries in the construction ecosystem. Ano yung mga masasabi mong tips naman para sila ay magpatuloy din ng kanilang pag-unlad sa pagninegosyo?
Kailangan talaga is hard work, dedication, and prayers. Kasi there's no shortcut in entrepreneurship. Kung gusto niyo magnegosyo, talagang mahirap. Kailangan mo ibigay lahat and you will need all the help that you can get. On the other side of the fence, na mas naging successful ka naman, yung satisfaction of helping others, giving them jobs, helping your clients, then helping the economy of the country naman, talagang solve ka naman doon. Kung gusto niyo naman pumasok sa prefab homes na business, kami naman, open kami for partnership. So you can learn and earn with us.
Wow, this has been a very inspirational conversation with civil engineer, the CEO of Top Notch Construction Corporation. And before we end this conversation, saan ka ba nila mapupuntahan? What social media, what numbers can they find you and find Top Notch Construction Corporation?
For Top Notch Construction, may offices kami sa Cavite area, Laguna area, Quezon City, Bulacan area, and Pampanga area. Yung website namin is topnotchconstructionph.com. For prefab homes naman, our office is in Cavite. You can find us in prefabhomesphilippines.ph.
We'll see if these prefab homes are really the next big thing in the world of housing and homes. Open for Business. We'll be back. Stay with us. Construction is more than just putting up walls and roofs. Done right, it provides us the shelter that we will cherish for many years. Learning how the construction business goes, we have invaluable insights on choosing our contractors well, or even seeing the potential of this growth sector. As always, explore new solutions, embrace innovative methods, and most importantly, build your dreamscapes. And with that, our quote of the week is, building is not just about shelter, it's about realizing dreams, making statements, and creating spaces where life happens. That's according to John Architect Arons. Maraming salamat sa aming guest, Mr. Ruben Quintal Jr. Ruben, maraming salamat sa iyo at sa Top Notch, at maraming salamat sa isang oras na pagsama sa amin upang tunghayan ng isang makabuluhang usapan ukol sa negosyo dito lang sa Open for Business. Hanggang sa susunod na linggo, samahan nyo kaming muli dito sa Open for Business. Catch us too on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe on our social media page at Net25TV. Makikita nyo yan sa inyong screen. We will bring you more insights from industry experts, thought leaders, CEOs, and featured SMEs. Together, let us help encourage business development in the Philippines. Sharpen your business acumen, feel the pulse, and set the trend for as long as you're informed and open for business. Ito po si Cesar Vallejos. Marami pong salamat.